Hi, I hate clickbaits and time wasting, so I will get straight to the point. Your eyesight may not be as good as you think it is, especially if you're over 30, because poor eyesight does not hurt you like a injured muscle or some kind of sickness. Secondly, there are things that you can do to help prevent your eyesight from getting worse. That's also a thing to consider. And thirdly, which was a revelation for me, there are different prescription dioptries for different kinds of works, jobs, and distances. Not just reading glasses or normal away driving glasses, but some other caveats. So in this video, I will discuss those topics. Hope that this will help at least a few people. So the first thing, when it comes to eyesight, I will be using my example. That's what really happened to me. So first-hand experience, but for things that are not unique in any way, unfortunately or not. When I walk around, when I'm riding, driving, going to the range, even going to have my regular health checkup, including the eyesight checkup, everything is good, but the catch is, and the thing for me that was interesting was when I first had some small print that I wanted to share with some colleagues, so that we were doing some overviews and whatnot, and so I wanted to put a lot of information on one A4 sheet of paper. And when the light was not perfect, I could not see it normally. And I do take care to have a good monitor and to use good light when I'm reading and everything. And so I thought when the light is not perfect, when my eyes get tired from reading a lot every day or doing some fine work, that's normal. But when I gave that paper to a junior colleague, what do you call that, intern or whatever, he could read it without any problems. And so I decided, okay, I must go to a specialist. I think that ophthalmologist is the term in English. And so there, the doctor explained that the medical checkups just test distance views so that you don't have any traffic accidents or anything, and that it is understood that you will notice when you have trouble reading and go to the doctor. And so in my case, I was very, how do I say, persistent in not figuring out that I really do have a problem. And it took a junior colleague that could read what I couldn't in the same light and same font size. And so it probably would have been better if I had done more regular tests, at least once in every few years after 40. And for many people in my generation, at least, many started wearing glasses for reading even after 30, 35 years old. So that's roughly the time when it might be a good idea, even if you are very healthy and take good care of your sight and don't do silly stuff in poor light, to have that regular checks. The way to prevent your eyesight from getting worse, of course, good sleep, exercise, good nutrition with vitamins and minerals that also help with your other muscles, including the eye muscle. Not using poor quality light, not using poor quality monitors and other things. And very importantly, to make a break at least once every 30 minutes, so every half an hour, and to look at the distance for at least 20 or 30 seconds, to look far away, because that lets your muscles in your eye change their position, so that they can rest from keeping your eyes focused to something nearby, and that they can switch and the blood flows and the eyes don't get so cramped. An extreme opposite of that is, and the doctor told me this, so I'm relaying her words. And if she lied to me, I'm lying to you. The younger generations that spend a lot of time with phones and they are kept very close, the eyes get so many hours uninterrupted, keeping that very close focus, that the eye gets a bit of cylindrical, bit deformed at a relatively early age, and then it's creating all sorts of problems for the sight. Generally, you could say that for humans it's not natural to keep reading all the time, and especially from very close distance, that we do need to walk out and look in the distance and see those things. And so for people who work in those small cubicle offices without windows, I think that's inhumane, no other way to put it. But if you have any other way, for example, in my workshop, I don't have windows, but I can step outside and take a look. The door is right next to my work desk, so that does help. Another thing that helps is to close your eyes and look all the way to the up, down, all the way left, all the way right, and to circle your eyes in one direction and in the other. With your eyelids closed, you can do that, and that's also a good exercise that you can do when you are looking far away and making a break, to also include that, because that also helps your eyes get moisture and what's needed, and the muscles to get some exercise. Now the interesting thing about glasses, and that for me was a revelation, so of course there is the dioptry, the prescription that you get for looking far ahead if you are short-sighted. There is also the prescription that you get for reading near if you are far-sighted. That's something that often comes with age, even for people who did not wear glasses. And you can have both. You can have both the prescription for looking far and the prescription for looking close, depending on your eyesight and your situation. And that's generally normal. Now, before the computers became very popular and widely used, so in the last century, there were reading glasses and glasses for driving or for looking away. Then, in this century, people also started using the computer screen glasses, monitor glasses that are often used at a distance that is a bit further away than people would normally read, depending again on the situation. But those are some things that you should communicate with your ophthalmologist so that they can prescribe the proper glasses for you, so that your eyes do not strain more than they must, and so that you mitigate the problem of your eyesight getting worse, or slow that degradation down, at least if possible. So those are already 3 types of glasses. But the thing that really was interesting for me was that for people who do fine detail work, like dentists, watchmakers, gunsmiths, and mechanics like me, we don't just use distance for reading that's like normally you would read and things like that, but also sometimes I need to check some very fine details to find something, so it's a bit from this to roughly half that distance. And so I do have a magnifying glass in my workshop that I have used for things when I need a magnifying glass, nothing special. However, again, I noticed when I got some very fine handle of the tool that has some logos and other stuff inscribed on it, but it looks like texture when you look from far away. When you look close up in details, you can see. Well, I was told about it, but I couldn't see it even after I was told about it. And that also got me to go to have an examination and to talk to the ophthalmologist and explain the problem. And for me that was new information, and the doctor said that it's normal for people who do delicate work close up, even for her when she needs to operate the tear canal, if I translated that properly, she would use a separate dioptry, separate prescription for that kind of work. So in my case, for example, right now I have plus 1.25 for reading dioptry, and everything that is up to 1.5 meters or even 2 meters away, that helps. Further away it makes things worse. So 1.5 meters is roughly the break line. After that, 2 meters and further on, it makes things almost worse. So for further away it doesn't help, it makes things, but for that distance closer than that, it helps, up to a point where it does not help anymore again. But for the close-up detailed work, I got +2 on both eyes, the dioptry, the prescription. So relatively huge difference, and that gets things not much enlarged. That is not the main problem, but it gets things clear. If you have problems with eyesight, the first thing that you notice when you get a good prescription is that things are again sharp and clear, and it of course has helped me a lot in being able to read faster, work faster, and see all the details. And it's best when you don't need to wear glasses, but when you get to a position that you need them, it's better to wear them, to not make your sight go worse faster than it must, and to also help you see and work more efficiently. Okay, just to not forget, so I got yes, different glasses for different uses, and these are for super close and these are for reading. Another thing, when you need to remove your glasses, a common mistake that people do is to do something like this, where things can a bit drag and deform their glasses, and so they are no longer aligned and they make problems. It's ideal if you can to use both hands and remove glasses symmetrically, to not try to twist them apart and things like that. If that's not possible, and for me that is highly impractical, the ophthalmologist, the person who built glasses for me, explained that very nicely, very patiently, and after having worn these glasses for a while, I had to admit that I could not do that, because very often I have one hand that is busy with something or too dirty for me to comfortably take glasses. And so what I did was to try then to not pull them by side, but to make that as much straight as possible by holding the frame without touching the glass itself, to not stain it. So that is a very useful tip, and I very often see people do what the ophthalmologist showed me, the wrong thing, so to pull just one side and to twist their glasses, and apparently that makes them last a lot shorter and get deformed quicker. I did not test that. I did what I just showed you, so not with both hands regularly, but with one hand and just trying to pull it straight, and that is what has worked fine for me. Another thing to consider is when you are carrying glasses in your glasses bag, it is generally good to have the cloth that you get for cleaning glasses, to put it at the bottom, and to put your glasses with the glass section down, so that they are lying on that and not scratching against the pad. And then you can close it. This is a hard case, so it does not get squished in my backpack. If you have some kind of, what do you call that, necklace for holding glasses, some people like that, also make sure that if it has some steel or things and you put it all in here, it's going to rub against this and create scratches and make your glasses not work very well without creating scratches that are visible like a scratch. It will just make it less transparent, less ideal, so it might take you a while to realize that, and you'll be straining your eyes. So that's the thing to consider. Another thing to consider is that when you put your glasses to hang, there are things that you screw just on the end, like a small glove that fits tightly without any metal parts that can, and with also made out of canvas or some other fabric material that's less aggressive for scratching the lenses. That's another thing. And when you're wearing glasses and they are hanging on you, if you are in a workshop, you must pay attention to not break them and things like that. So those are things to consider. In hindsight, I maybe should have bought a frame that is less dark. This one is pretty black, and in some cases, when I put down my glasses to not need them or to not damage them or to do anything, it's not ideal, but I will not go into fashion. I'm not very much into visual, nice design and things like that, more of a technical aspect guy. So don't take my word for aesthetics. I'm just talking about practicalities here. However, with that in mind, the fine work glasses, I asked if the glassmaker could recommend something that's easy on the head and practical and everything. So I got another carbon frame, just like the previous glasses. So that's very comfortable and not weighing a lot, but also it is a bit brighter color and it looks even more elegant. So I really like the design of these, and both of these fit me nicely, and they're neutral with very wide glass area, so they don't get in the way, so they can have a clear picture. So that's another thing to consider. But there are also models that fit just on the top of your nose, very small glasses, and that fold compactly. I did not buy those, and for now I'm not using those, but that can be a practical option. Again, this is what the professional who builds glasses and also wears glasses for all of their life told me. So I'm relaying the information. That model is practical if you need to go to stores and you cannot read the fine print, the ingredients on food, because, for example, in my country, many cheese products have not milk but some vegetable fat inside and some artificial things, and that's getting crazy and very prevalent, but they must print it. So you need to watch all the fine print on most products, and they change the ingredients without noticeably changing the design of the package. So it's tricky. So anyway, even for that, it's impractical for me. I don't like carrying glasses around my neck for various reasons, and to take this big box out and put glasses on when I'm in the shop and when my hands are touching all those things that million people touched already, I'm not comfortable with that. But these small glasses are an option to just have them on your neck, so that you can look in the distance over them, and that you can also use the small section to see the details. So that sounds like something that I am considering to get nowadays, and that I also had no idea about until now, the super small, super folding models. So that's something to consider that I cannot share first-hand experience with for now. So I don't think that now I forgot everything. Now I'll try to use the magic of video editing and add the things that I already said. Less than 20 minutes. Good video. Thank you very much for watching. So I am very relatively old, late 40s, and I am highly educated and quite intelligent. So that's a fact, not just my opinion. Everything is measurable in those terms. And so I also read a relatively big number of books in my life from various topics. And the point is that I thought that I have some idea about the world around us, but these things that I talked about in this video, for me, many of them were new. And even people who wear glasses, when I talk to them, if they don't do fine work and mechanics, many of them, I was curious, so I did some casual conversations about that, and many of them didn't know about the fact that you may need different kinds of dioptries for different distances, not just the reading glasses and the driving glasses. So I hope this video helps at least a few people, and if you have any other information and any tips, please let me know, preferably on my BikeGremlin.net forum. I want to thank the good people who support my work via patreon.com/BikeGremlin. You can also do that. And I always forget to say that if you like my work, you can like and subscribe and share it. That will help you see more of my videos. YouTube recommendation algorithm is very, very tricky. It can also help more people see my videos, at least to some degree, if you think that's a good idea. And I don't think if I forgot anything, I will mention it some other time. But that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in some other video where I might even try to do something, not just talk.